Hello, this is a video basically doing an overview of all the beginner kind of climbing equipment you would need if you wanted to start rock climbing. This is for indoor climbing, as outdoor climbing you should have a helmet, which I haven't gone outdoor climbing as of yet, and if I do they'll lend me one when I go with my club. But I'm just going to go over all the different equipment that I bought, and some bits I will recommend, some bits you have to go and try out and buy the right one for you, and there is a bit of choice anyway depending on your price range. Okay, so I'll get rid of everything from here and then I'll start from the beginning. The first thing you will need is a pair of shoes. These are specific climbing shoes, and they've got they're attached together. They have got very sticky rubber on the bottom. It kind of sticks to the wall when you climb a lot better. It's also got a very pointy front, so you can put your feet on tiny little ridges in the rock, and it just helps you climb a lot better. The difference it makes is major, because on most shoes you've got a rounded front, which means that you're not, when it's rounded, if there's a little bit sticking out, your foot is likely to fall off it. And these, because they have a pointed front, allow you to sit on the end, and also they're very grippy, so you can put your foot against a vertical wall, push against it, and you'll stick. Not literally stick, they are not sticky, so you won't get stuck to the wall. But if you try and grip onto the wall by forcing your foot against it, you will be able to. In terms of buying shoes, they range from about £35 to about £110. As an introductory price, as a price range for new people climbing, I'd recommend spending about £50, because there's several types of shoes. You can get one made of synthetic material, one's made of leather, or different variations of leather. And if you buy a synthetic one, they're usually the cheaper ones. There are some more expensive ones as well. And the synthetic ones don't stretch at all. But the problem with synthetic shoes is that they're not breathable, and they make your feet very hot and sweaty when you're climbing, which is kind of bad. And they don't stretch, which means literally when you buy them, if they fit, they will always fit you. If you buy leather ones like mine, they do stretch a tiny bit, so after about a year they'll get a little bit looser, and you want them to be, they've got to be a very specific size. With sizes, try on your shoe size, so your normal shoe size. I'm 9.5, I tried a 9.5. And you don't want them to be like normal shoes, where you've got plenty of room to not wiggle about, but you can move your toes. Rock climbing shoes should be very snug, almost too uncomfortable to wear for long periods of time, because they're not meant to be really comfortable. They're meant to help you climb better. So mine are a 9.5, but I tried 9.5 in various other shoes and found that a 9.5 in this was fine, but in a different brand, a different company that made them, I had to try on 10.5, because they were still very tight and not as comfortable as these, because they all vary in what the size actually is. So when you're buying shoes, do not buy them online, or if you want to buy them online, go into a shop, try them on, find the ones that fit you and what size and what make, and buy them online in that size. But make sure you've tried the one first. If you don't, you will find that you have to go through about 7 pairs and return them, because they are such a variety of different sizes. My shoes are Scarpa Vantage, and they cost £65, and that was on cotswoldoutdoor.com. Something that is good, if you join a club, often you'll get a discount possibly from their shop, or any local shops to that club. And I joined the university climbing, which is the Bangor University Mountaineering Society, shortened to BUMS. and that I get 20% off in Cotswold if I go into one of their shops. So I got 20% off 65, which is I think I got it for about £52 or something around that, which is very good because it's quite a lot of money off, and these cost 65, and I got them for about £50, which is really good because it's like a lot better shoe. If you're trying to be cheap with shoes or with all your climbing gear, bear in mind that it's going to be what you pay for. If you buy some shoes and they're £35, they may work and be perfectly fine for the first couple of months, but then after about half a year they might start, like the rubber might wear, or they might feel uncomfortable, and generally it won't be as comfortable as if you buy good quality ones. If you buy good quality ones, they will be better for climbing, they might have stickier rubber, or be more comfortable, and yeah, so you get what you pay for. So try and spend as much money as you can afford. Don't go and spend £100 on the best pair just because you want the best pair. Go and buy what's okay for you. About £50–60 should be good. You can get different types of shoes. Read not online reviews, but on a shop it should say good for beginners, better for experts. That basically means how comfortable they are. Some shoes are more comfortable, but they kind of compromise comfortable with climbing ability. If they're really uncomfortable, they're probably really good when you climb because they'll grip on lots and they'll be very good for climbing, but they won't necessarily be as comfortable in the long term. So if you climb for several hours, it will really start hurting your feet. So you should buy shoes that are tight and make your toes sort of crunch up a little bit, not lots, but a little bit, so they're kind of forced together and bent a tiny bit. Because if there's a bit of leeway in your shoe, your foot will move inside the shoe a little bit, and it kind of doesn't help when you're climbing. Also, you wear these when you're not wearing socks. You can wear socks, but it's a bad idea because it doesn't help as much. So try them on without socks, and they're not actually that uncomfortable. I thought, what? How can you not wear socks with your shoes? But they're actually really comfortable. So you don't really notice that they're uncomfortable because you're not wearing socks. So make sure you wear them without socks, and don't wear them with socks because it'll change the sizes and everything. So that's shoes really. You just buy the ones that are most comfortable and in your price range, and try not to buy them because you like the look of them, because you don't really look at your shoes that much. But you can if you want to, I suppose, but try and buy the ones that are most comfortable. That's the most important thing, comfortableness and price, really. So that's shoes. Next important thing is the harness. This is a Black Diamond Momentum AL. You can go for lots of different types, and basically the only difference between them is comfortableness, size, and colours. And there's these things on the back which you can attach your equipment to when you're climbing, and some of them have less, some of them have more. Mine cost £50 minus the 20% because I had a discount, and that was also everything I bought was from Cotswold Outdoor in a shop in Betsy Coed in Wales, which is near me in Bangor. Try and buy one from a reputable brand such as Petzl, Black Diamond, there's one called DMM, I think. Yeah, DMM. And there's another one called LLD or something like that. But don't go and buy one that's from some random brand that's not well heard of. When you kind of look at climbing stuff, there's lots of familiar brands that keep popping up. Try not to buy it from anything that isn't one of those, because sometimes, I don't know, I suppose they should technically be okay, but try and buy one that's from one of the reputable brands, and try and spend around £50. The cheaper ones aren't very comfortable. They may be cheap and appeal to you. If you really are stuck for money, go for a cheap one if you need to. But really, it should be okay. It's not that much more to buy one of these ones that's quite good. This has got like big thick padding. Some of them have only got a thin strapping material like that, and they're cheaper, but it's really uncomfortable. If you fall, all your weight is going to be pulling on where these pads are, and if it's a little strap it might really hurt you. Try and buy a comfortable one, and the more you spend the better it will be and the longer it will last, usually. Try and buy one the right size. The more expensive they are, generally you get specific sizes. If you buy a cheap one, sometimes they're universal, but it just means you'll have a big long strap coming off because it tightens lots and loosens lots, so it can fit big people and small people. So the harness, I don't know, spend about £50 or a little bit less. Sometimes you can get ones for about £35 or £40. About £40 I would say is the bottom limit, but if you find one that's good, then it's your choice, but I'm just recommending what I think people should buy as beginning kind of climbing equipment. That's a harness, and some of them have got these. These are just accessory kind of dongle things. When you have things later on, like you'll have lots of clippy carabiners or quick draws, you'll find out all about this later when you start climbing, will attach onto there, and it just, the more of them you've got, the more stuff you can carry. You get some harnesses which are super lightweight and they've hardly got any of those. They might have one or two, but the lightweightness of your harness, it really doesn't make a difference. It's probably more of a difference the amount you've eaten than this. So if you're going to be that pedantic about having a lightweight harness, when will it stop? So just buy a harness that looks the most comfortable. They'll say on the websites which are best for beginners and which are for more experienced climbers and things like that. So that's the harness. So next I will talk about two things. You need a carabiner and a belay device. The carabiner is a big clip, basically, which attaches from your harness on this big loop at the front, and you attach that to your harness, and basically when you're belaying someone, you're at the bottom making sure they're not going to fall down. You have this thing clipped in, and this kind of helps you stop the rope if they fall, and you keep it tight, and it makes sure they don't drop lots when they fall. But I'm not going to talk about how to climb, because I'm not here to teach you that. You need to go to a club to learn to climb. Do not try and climb without having lessons first. With a carabiner, you need to buy a reasonably big one, and this one is a DMM Big Boa HMS Screwgate, which basically is a big one. Some of them are smaller, they're about that big, but this has got a big area at the top, which is kind of useful because it means you've got a lot of space to put things in, and it's less likely to get tangled as well. If it's big, the ropes can move a lot without having to like wrap around anything. So that's the carabiner. This cost, I think, £13.50, which is about the normal price. You can get some cheaper ones at about £7, but I bought from this DMM because they're a good brand. They're made in Wales, which is good, and it's got fairly neutral colours. Some of them are bright coloured, and some have fancy clips that you know. They've got a screw gate, so when you screw that, it can't open. It's stuck, which is what you have to do when they're climbing, so you don't accidentally let them rope out or anything. And some of them have got clips that will go over that, and they're quite good as well. I'm not sure what they're called. I think it's a Belay Master by DMM, which has a little clip, which is quite useful if you're a beginner, because then it makes sure you always remember that you're locking them up properly. This is a belay device. You can get a big variety of these. You get some that are similar but look like that but symmetrical, so like the other side. This is called a VC Pro 2, which has got this bit which allows you to, when the rope goes in through one of the holes and then through the carabiner and then back out the hole, and then it comes down there, and this kind of valley allows you to kind of pull the rope and stop it from sliding when they fall. It's like a extra friction. If you buy one that's like, I think it's the Bug, I think it's called, is the cheaper one that's about £13. This is about £17. It is precisely £17, yes. And this is just good because it gives you that little bit of extra friction, which allows you to kind of help if someone's climbing, to stop them falling basically. So if there's a really heavy person, you can kind of stop them very quickly because it grabs onto the rope when you pull the rope down. But don't listen to anything I'm saying. Go and have lessons if you want to learn to climb. Do not just go from rumours on the internet, because I've seen lots of videos on the internet that say like tutorial videos for climbing. They teach you everything completely wrong, and some are really dangerous and like really bad. They'll go outside without helmets and say you should be fine because you won't fall, but it's not about that. Rocks could fall on your head, so you've got to follow every safety thing, like always locking your screw gates and stuff.